dance because we did. I dance because we could. I dance to show the world. I dance to show the good. I dance to feel you near. I dance to hold you dear. I dance to be alive. I dance to wanna night. On days that sadness wins, on nights that seem too cold, I know just what to do when it's you I wanna hold. I start to feel the beat, let it move into my soul, then I no longer feel alone. The rhythm makes me whole, yes. With me I'll be apart, but you dance in my heart, and all the joy you bring still leads my heart to sing, yes. Your memory is strong, it's like a favorite song, and as I spin and sing, I feel the joy you bring, yes.
Dance, 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 oh, dance, 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 oh, dance.
I dance because we did. I dance because
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
It appears new tech is old tech. We're going to talk about that. Trump has been underplaying the deaths in the war. We'll talk about that. And there's a new spending bill that's hideous. We'll talk about that and so much more today. Don't go anywhere.
Now it's showtime.
It is the Karel Show. I am Karel. So very glad you are joining me on this Tuesday, July 21st. Happy birthday to Ken Pearson. We used to be friends. So glad everyone is here joining me. I want to start with something personal, and I know that tomorrow we normally do this gay week, but, you know, every day is a gay day for me. Look here at this. First of all, this headline. A Texas judge is suing to end marriage equality nationwide simply because she doesn't want to perform same-sex marriages. So that's out of Texas this morning. A Texas judge is suing to end marriage equality nationwide. Now, I bring this up because this morning at the park, you know that one of my social outlets is the park. And this morning at the park, Maureen, who is 80 plus years old with her dog Puzzle, was there. And we were all I was talking to my friends, Jeannie and Sherry. At least I think they're my friends. And you know, they were talking about going to lunch with Maureen, which, you know, they hadn't invited me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I invite them like 1,000 times, but whatever. And so then Maureen was talking about dogs and about Lilith, who belongs to a man named Bill. And she goes, well, you know, Bill's not here. He takes off for the summer because he's got money. And I said, most assholes do. And she said, Bill's not an asshole. And I said, yeah, he is to me. She goes, well, no, he's not. And I said, he looked in my face and told me that we must protect the children from trans people. You know, protect the bathrooms and protect the sports and protect all this other bullshit. And in the same sentence saying he's got nothing against gays, when it's obvious he does. I said, so he's an asshole. And I said, just like every other Republican. She says, well, I vote Republican. And I said, well, if the shoe fits. Well, why would you say that? I said, because just this morning, the Republicans have attached 5 riders to the spending bill. And the spending bill has to pass Congress if we are to keep the government open. So they always attach things to it that they know will pass because it has to pass. It's attached to the spending bill. And what did these fabulous Republicans attach this morning? 5 different riders. Number 1 will restrict the United States' ability to appoint special envoys, representatives, or coordinators unless expressly authorized by Congress. Their roles have historically been to use to promote U.S. interest in international forums, including advancing human and LGBTQ and intersex rights and other policy priorities. This change would halt what the Congressional Equality Caucus describes as providing critical expertise to U.S. foreign policy and leadership abroad. Another one is it reinforces anti-equality executive orders signed by Trump, effectively requiring that foreign assistance funds by the United States comply with those orders. This includes rescinding federal contracts, non-discrimination protections, including for gay people. Another section will prohibit funding for any organization that provides or promotes medically necessary health care for trans people or promotes transgenderism, meaning acknowledges that it's real. Effectively banning funds from organizations that recognize trans people exist. This is despite the practice of gender-affirming care being supported by nearly every major medical association, and is the same language Vladimir Putin is using in Russia to outlaw gays. Another, Section 7067, reinforces 2 global gag rules put forward by the Trump-Vance administration. One is the Trans-Global Gag Rule, which prohibits foreign assistance funding for organizations that acknowledge the existence of trans people or advocate for non-discrimination protections for them. The second is the DEI Global Gag Rule, which prohibits foreign assistance funding for organizations that engage in efforts to address the ongoing effects of racism, sexism, and other forms of bigotry outside the United States. They want to globally shut down gay rights.
Karel.com daily. You're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So this morning I said, I'm sorry, but Bill's an asshole. Well, the minute I said this, Jeannie and Sherry get up and say goodbye, we're leaving, see you later, and leave. Because they just don't want to enter this conversation with Maureen because they know she's MAGA. But they also don't want to defend me. And I looked at her and she goes, I'm a Republican and I don't hate gay people. I said, then you're not a Republican. Either get out of the party or stop saying you support gay people. I fucking hate these people who talk out of both sides of their goddamn mouth. Oh, I'm a Republican and I don't hate gay people. Really? Well, these 5 amendments that your Republican friends are trying to put on the spending bill certainly sound like hatred to me. You cannot be MAGA or a Republican and say that you support gay people. You do not. Stop lying. And as for my 2 friends, quote unquote, getting up and walking away because they don't want to enter into this situation, that exemplifies the old adage of, first they came for these people and I said nothing. First they came for these people and I said nothing. Then they came for these people and I said nothing. And then they came for me and there was no one left to speak up. They should have sat there and said, he's right. But no, they're going to go to lunch with Maureen. They're just not going to talk politics. She's a nice lady who likes dogs. We're just not going to talk politics. This is not a matter of opinion or disagreement on politics. This is a matter of life and fucking death for gay people, trans people, bi people. They are coming for our marriages. They are trying to make a global gag order that if you in any country accept gays, accept trans people, then you will not do business with the United States. I'm done. I'm done with the fucking United States. I'm done with Republicans and MAGA. I'm done with Donald Trump. I'm done with waking up 63 goddamn years of my life and having the... Did any of you wake up to a headline today about how they want to put something in the spending bill to openly discriminate against you for simply existing? Did any of you? If you're not gay, no, you didn't. Did any of you wake up to see that your very marriage might be threatened by a judge in Texas? No, you did not, unless you were gay. So please don't preach to me about how I'm supposed to just ignore it. That's why I don't read the news. That's why I don't get so involved in it anymore. Yeah, blah, 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 fucking blah. There is a civil war going on, and the first casualties are trans and gays. And you guys are stepping over our corpses. All of you. Because none of you are standing up with the gay community. Have any of you called your congressperson today and say, don't vote for the spending bill if they leave these 5 things in it? No. Now that you know that these 5 things are in it, is every single one of you going to pick up the phone and tell your congressperson do not vote for the spending bill with these 5 things in it? Probably not. Do most of you still have friends that are Republicans? Probably. Well then, you don't support me. Not truly. Yes, I'm hurt this morning. I'm hurt that Jeannie and Sherry chose to get up and walk away instead of sit there and defend me to Maureen. I'm sad that 2 people I call friend would rather overlook the fact that she's a fascist fucking bigot and go to lunch with her and look on the good side. You know, she likes dogs. She's a nice old lady. We're not going to change her mind. Then let her be alone and bitter. But no, she gets to go to lunch with Jeannie and Sherry. Me? Not so much. What a buzzkill you are, Karel. You're such a buzzkill. Every day, ranting and raving against all of this stuff. What a buzzkill. What a buzzkill. You know? I'm tired. I'm tired of the fucking heat. I woke up at 4:15 this morning. It said, good morning. It's 4:15 a.m. Current temperature 92 degrees. Did any of you wake up when it was 92 at 4:15 a.m. and when you got to the park at 6:30, it was already 95 with 50% humidity? No, you didn't probably. And while you were on your way to the park, did any of you get a news headline across your phone that Republicans have attached 5 anti-gay riders to the spending bill that needs to pass to fund our government? No, you didn't. Did any of you then come home and sit down on your Instagram to just check the news to see what is going on today in the world, to then have this headline be right in front of you? A Texas judge is suing to end marriage equality nationwide? No, you probably didn't. And even if you did see it, did it bother you? Well, you probably said, I don't know why they do that. That's just not right. But is it going to affect you? Affect your marriage or your ability to get married in the future? Andrew died before gay marriage, and since then, I've had no serious partner. So I may never, one of the most famous gay people in America, and I may never know what it's like to say I do to another man. So there we are. My crime is existing. And gay youth, You know, I'm working on the video for You Have to Be Proud. My single, You Have to Be Proud, comes out in 2 days. You should go and pre-order it, download it. Karel, You Have to Be Proud. Do what you can to help. Pre-order, please, pre-order. Go to Amazon or go to Apple Music or go to Spotify and pre-order the song, please. It helps. Karel, You Have to Be Proud. Karel, You Have to Be Proud. Go today. Pre-order the single. Add it to your library, please. And this is exactly why I'm singing this song. It's exactly why I wrote it. The hatred has become deafening. It has become all gay people here now. That's all we hear now. We don't hear any positive. All we hear is hatred. Day after day after day. That's all we hear now. We don't hear about any wins. We just hear hatred every single day. And we're tired of it. I'm tired of it. My gay friends have just tuned out because they have that luxury. They can just, I'm just going to write songs. I'm just going to make my movies. I'm just going to do my DJ sets. I'm not going to get involved in all that. Okay. See how that works out for you. Drinking my matcha tea with my nut milk and vanilla syrup, because matcha is good for you. Also had my cocoa powder this morning because cocoa is good for you. Had my oatmeal, had my fruit because all that's good for you. And yet all I do is worry about my health and whether I got cancer in my mouth. And at least I got my car back and it works. So that's, something. So what do we do? Well, you can call your legislature and say, please don't vote for the funding bill if they keep these 5 riders attached. Please take them off, strip them out of the bill. You could do that. But it's a bigger question. We've been too tolerant of MAGA and Republicans. We've been too tolerant. We really have been. Cory Booker is the biggest apologist around. We've been too tolerant of these people. Lindsey Graham. Oh, well, we're not really supposed to speak ill. He's died. Fuck Lindsey Graham. I hope he is rotting in hell. The same with Charlie Kirk. I hope Charlie Kirk was at the gates of hell to greet Lindsey Graham, because that's where they belong for the things that they said on this planet. If you have a MAGA friend, why? They don't like you. They don't approve of you. Well, we just don't talk politics. Shamar Moore, the handsome actor from Criminal Minds and SWAT, posted a social media Instagram post yesterday. And he said, politics, I don't do politics. And this is like the 4th celebrity now I've heard say, I don't do politics. Well, like it or not, politics does you. First of all, Shamar Moore, you're a black man. So politics has really done you. Second of all, it must be nice to be so rich and so busy that you live in such a bubble that you don't care that the cost of getting you to and from the set has tripled because of fuel prices. It must be so nice to be so busy and not do politics that you don't realize people like you are suffering because of politics. It must be so nice to live in a world where you just don't have to do it. And he does, because he's a millionaire. So, yeah, he doesn't have to do politics. He's a millionaire. He can buy his way out of any situation. Take your black self to somewhere in the South and get pulled over by a white cop and see how you don't do politics. Let ICE roll up on you and see how you don't do politics. He has children and he says, I don't do politics. Really? So you're not concerned that the planet's going to be fucking uninhabitable for your children because no one's paying attention to climate change? Including you? Because you don't do politics. People that say they don't do politics make me want to smack the shit out of them. Because politics is in every part of their life. Look at the cyclospora outbreak. Suddenly they found the culprit. It's Taylor Foods. It's the shredded lettuce at Taco Bell. And then 3 days later, after a sizable donation to a MAGA pact, suddenly, oops, we made a mistake. It's not their lettuce after all. Well, then whose is it? Well, we don't know. Back to square one. That is one of the biggest failures of government this year. And that's saying something. People are being put in the hospital because our government can't keep our water clean. It can't keep our food safe. It can't keep the people in America from dying because of the climate. My neighbors going through 5 days without air conditioner, that should be illegal. There should have been a fund or something set up to either pay for a hotel for them or to help get their air conditioner fixed right away, period. It's going to be 111 tomorrow. It'll heat up to 120 or 30 in their house. America can't provide health care for its people. Bernie Sanders rallying about United Healthcare and how they made $5.8 billion more in profit this year than before. How can a health insurance company, which does nothing, it does nothing. Health insurance companies do nothing. They don't provide you health care. They don't employ your doctors. They do nothing. And yet they're denying care, making record profits. Why? So we can't provide health care to our people. We can't provide cheap energy to our people. We can't provide food to our people as the food bank lines are people lining up, around the street. We can't provide clean air for our people. Half the fucking country is breathing in smoke. We can't. Oh, and what does he do? Instead of dealing with climate change, what does the orange fuck do? Slaps a 50% tariff on Canada yesterday and reignites a trade war. So now you and I are going to have bad air to breathe and have to pay more for Canadian products. He seems to think that it's Canadian businesses that will pay that tariff. He is an idiot. And why is he doing it? Because of the smoke. Instead of funneling money into climate change, nope. Let's just put a tariff on Canada and make the Americans who are already paying too much for everything pay more for even more things. So what is America good for right now exactly? It is attacking its own citizens, gays, lesbians, trans, immigrants, literally gunning them down in the streets. Can't feed its people, can't house its people, homelessness out of control, can't give its people health care. So what are we good at? Well, why are we the greatest place in the world again?
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way.
Now it's showtime.
All right, we are back. I was checking the chat room at youtube.com/reallykarel. It will never change. I want to leave the USA also. Yeah, I've never wanted to leave more than I have now. I talk to voters, and that's one of the cop-out phrases. That's exactly a cop-out phrase. Oh, I'm MAGA or I'm Republican, but I like gay people. No, you don't. You can't say you like a community of people if you are actively voting for a party that wants to eliminate them from the United States. 3 lawmakers, 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 lawmakers have already said that gays and lesbians have no place in society. And these 5 riders that they just attached are trying to get us out. This morning I read an article in Time magazine that said American politicians are starting to use the same terms to criminalize homosexuality as the Kremlin. I am not making this shit up. 50% tariff on Canada yesterday. Why? Because of smoke. But what is he doing about climate change? Nothing. Nothing. And he's just alienating one of our oldest allies and neighbors. You know? Farm foreclosures are going through the roof. There are more farms. You can buy a farm now for 50 cents. There are more farms being foreclosed upon. What are we going to fucking eat? He doesn't care. He eats McDonald's. He thinks there's a Big Mac tree somewhere. But what are you and I going to eat? And this applies to you meat eaters as well. Farms just don't farm fruits and vegetables. They farm meat and dairy as well. In California, yesterday, in the LA Times, they highlighted the owners of 3 of the biggest farms in the state. And all 3 of them said they are switching from growing food to solar panels. They have leased out their land to solar companies. It's more profitable, and they don't have to rely on the climate or on water because they do not believe there's going to be enough water in California to grow, and they are not making enough money to sustain their farms. So they are leasing their farmland to solar companies. 3 of the biggest farms in California are switching from growing food to solar energy. Otherwise, they would be foreclosed upon. And they don't trust the water supply in California. All of this is happening while we talk about what? You know, the Epstein files. Everyone keeps bringing up the Epstein files. Do something. Prosecute somebody. We know they did it. Oh, and this morning when I mentioned that I'm leaning to be a democratic socialist, that was it. Oh, that sent Maureen over the edge. That just sent her over the edge. And I said, look, Mondami's doing great things for New York, and now he's beloved. In just 6 short months, he has become beloved in that city. Did you see Mondami say that if Netanyahu goes to New York, they will arrest him? Did you see that? I want more Democrats to speak that way. He said the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu for war crimes. So if he comes to New York City, they will, in fact, arrest him. Now, the feds would immediately release him, but Mondami said, hey, that's the law. There's a warrant out for his arrest for war crimes. If he comes to our city, he will be arrested. Yeah, I'm leaning Democrat socialist. They seem to be talking a good game. Wow, I'm halfway through the show and I haven't even, gotten to the fun topics. Because I'm just so tired of being, this morning before the show, what I was doing, I was looking for Airbnbs in Vancouver, British Columbia, and to see if I could afford one for August so I could get out of the heat and get out of the country. And if any of you would like to give me $5,000 to take my show to Vancouver for a month, hey, I'll go. Because that's how much the Airbnb was. $5,000 for a month. A hotel was $12,000. And I just got sad because I didn't have that money. Stephanie Miller would have that money. David Pakman would have that money. I don't. And that made me angry. And why do you think I make less money than they do? Why do you think that is? Because you'll say Stephanie Miller is gay, so it can't be the gay thing. Really? When did Stephanie Miller come out? When did she come out? After she made her money. After she had been on #1 radio. She's out now, but she made most of her money. Well, plus her family has money. But, she made most of her money in radio prior to coming out as a lesbian. That's just a fact. Now she's been out for several years, almost 10 now, I think. And her podcast does really well. And she's got a girlfriend and she doesn't hide her gayness. And that's fabulous. She's got a gay man on the show with her, Chris Lavoie. I think that's wonderful. But she doesn't get the numbers that Ben Shapiro does. YouTube still blocks, the algorithm still. And she doesn't do gay topics on her show. They don't talk about gay issues. They don't do a weekly show like I do called This Gay Week. They just don't. So she's a lesbian. Everyone knows she's a lesbian, and she's got a girlfriend. Everyone knows she's got a girlfriend. And she certainly talks about being gay on the show, about her girlfriend, and Chris Lavoie talks about being gay. But do they sit there and do gay topics for an hour? No, they don't. And that's probably why she's more successful than I am. Because the algorithm hears me gay, 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 and says no, 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 no. We live in a world now where online, if you say rape, if you say pedophile, if you say kill, if you say shoot, that's it, the algorithm. So now people literally make up words like pew pew. That means to shoot, pew pew. Or they say unalive instead of kill. So it's Orwellian newspeak, and people don't even realize that it's Orwellian newspeak, but it is. And we've had to come up with newspeak to get around the algorithm. That's just crazy. All right, when we come back, the new tech appears to be old tech. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Oh.
You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
All right, I'm trying to find the story. Here it is. In an exclusive interview, Mandami, no, that's an older interview. It's today. He said that he will arrest, let's see. Mayor Mandami doubles down on threat to arrest Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mayor Zohan Mandami doubled down on his threat on Monday that he would not hesitate to order the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu if he attends the UN General Assembly in September. When someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously. The mayor said that the city would seek to uphold a warrant for Netanyahu's arrest issued nearly 2 years ago over the war in Gaza by the International Court. Now, I know that James Schnabel in the chat room has said that we are not a signature to the ICC, but Mandami seems to think that he in some way could arrest him for that warrant. Donald Trump imposes 50% tariff on Canadian goods. And meanwhile, the leader of Canada says we will then intensify the trade war. And who loses in a trade war? Who loses? We do. We do. Everyday consumer items like wine and hockey sticks, as well as industrial goods such as cement, will be 50% tariff. Several key exports, energy, potash, minerals, and fish will be spared. Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, stands ready to intensify trade talks with the U.S., saying that he will match the tariff point for point, which means American companies that send stuff to Canada, they will also face. So he's going to hurt American business. You know? So we're the only ones that lose in these, tariff wars. And Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care. U.S.-Iran strikes extend to 10th day as mediators propose truce. How many truces are we going to go through? We've now had 17 dead. not 3. Yesterday, we found out the Pentagon is underreporting on purpose the deaths and injuries from the Iran war. There are 17 dead and hundreds injured. Now, I was watching just something that was on streaming last night while I was playing ball with Ember called The Tomorrow Wars with Chris Pratt. I don't very much like to watch movies with Chris Pratt because I sense he's a MAGA Christian, but oh well. So it was on. And the movie is about soldiers that come back from 30 years in the future and say, we need your help. Humanity is going to die. There's only 500,000 of us left. These alien creatures eat us. They don't have an agenda. They just want to eat us. And we're running out of people to fight them. So we need your help to come and fight these creatures. So at first, for 12 months, everyone's gung-ho. Yes, let's protect our children, protect our grandchildren, save the future. Then, only 30% of the people that are sent to the future end up coming back. And you only go for 7 days. So all of a sudden you have factions saying, this is not our war. Why are we going and fighting it? We have 30 years to prepare for this. Why should we go and fight? And I thought, nothing makes people question a battle like casualties. People getting hurt. People getting killed. And Trump knows that. And so does Hegseth. And that's why they've hidden the casualties from Iran. And I thought this movie, this sci-fi movie, is illustrating why our government right now is hiding the truth about Iran. Because when Americans start seeing dead soldiers, if we had seen the 17 coffins, which we did not, if we had seen the hundreds of people wounded, which we did not, our view of Iran would be a little more urgent to end it. But everyone says he's now gotten himself into an unending war, and we're the cannon fodder.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
I also asked ChatGPT yesterday about World War because the Houthis, I'm going to sneeze, sorry. The Houthis, sorry, I've been sneezing all morning. The Houthis, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Houthi, whatever. They are now threatening the Saudis. Okay. So the Houthi threat adds to fears of a wider war and economic upheaval. This is coming out of the New York Times. 2 oil tankers made U-turns a day after the Iran-backed militant group in Yemen threatened traffic in another vital shipping route. President Trump said he expected to keep firing on Iran after trading attacks for 10 straight nights. The Houthis in Yemen are going to enforce a threat against Saudis passing in and out of the Red Sea. It's escalating, people. And in the last 2 weeks, over 100 soldiers have been wounded, with 17 dead. Are you fine with that? Are you fine with gas back at $5, maybe going to $10 if the Houthis stop the Red Sea? Are you fine with grocery stores ripping us off and healthcare ripping us off and Trump not stopping it? The fact that United Healthcare made $5+ billion in profit means we should stop all private care like that. All of these third-party companies, what's it called? Medicare Advantage plans. We should cancel them all and just do straight Medicare. Period. End of story. We own an insurance company. It's called Medicare. We do not need Medicare Advantage plans. I'm on United Healthcare. They're crap. I pay so much for my healthcare. I really do. I pay $250 per scan, and in some countries, that's all a scan cost. I paid $250 copay or I was going to, for an echocardiogram. And I said, well, how much is the test? And she said, well, we normally charge $200. And I said, then don't bill my insurance. I'll just pay you $200 because that's $50 cheaper than my copay. Wow. Wow. So, maybe aliens should come and eat us. I don't know. The world has gone mad today. It really has. And you know what? I speak truth. I speak truth, and truth is unpopular right now. I watch all these people, Destiny, Dean Withers, Harry Sison, Adam Mockler, and I watch them sit there, the Unfuck America tour, and they sit there and they debate these MAGA people. And I just think, how stupid are these young people? Young Jews didn't sit and debate Nazis. They killed them. I'm not saying we should kill the MAGA. I'm just saying that the Jews didn't debate Nazis. They killed them. And why? Why platform these people who are so stupid that they should just, in Mexico yesterday, they had a mural on the wall of a fake tunnel. Remember on Roadrunner when Wile E. Coyote would build a fake tunnel from Acme? He'd throw it up on the side of the cliff and it'd look like a tunnel. And then he'd wait by the side to see if the Roadrunner was going to keep running and smash right on into it. Someone painted that on a brick wall in Mexico, on a concrete wall, with the Wile E. Coyote right to the left and the Roadrunner to the right and the big tunnel. A lady yesterday tried to drive through it and smashed the whole front of her car because she went full speed like she was driving into a tunnel. There is clearly a Roadrunner there. There is clearly Wile E. Coyote, and she drives right into the wall. Stupid people used to not be protected. Okay? If they were that stupid in the Old West, if you were that stupid, you died. And nowadays, you can be as stupid as MAGA and thrive. And that's what's wrong. And we platform. You will never see me debate some MAGA person on this show. If that's what you want, go someplace else. I am not going to sit here and platform somebody who is too stupid to exist. I'm just not. I don't want to hear their point of view. Well, what about hearing their point of view? I don't fucking care about their point of view. I could care less. I've heard their point of view. Since the dawn of time, we've heard their point of view. Me. I don't care about you. And then spitting out whatever ridiculous talking points they've been told to spit out with zero critical thinking. Why platform these people? Why? Why? So meanwhile, 17 dead soldiers. Think about that. Think of the 17 families. That's 4 sets of parents, grandparents. So that's hundreds of people now mourning. Hundreds. Why? Because Donald Trump. And if you went out and asked people, why are we fighting in Iran? No one's going to say so they don't have a nuclear weapon. No one's going to say that. They're all going to say the Strait of Hormuz, oil, energy. It's supposed to be about stopping them from getting a nuclear weapon. Have we not done that already? Have we not bombed all the sites that could, in fact, create nuclear? I mean, shouldn't the war be over? The greatest country in the world, the most testosterone-filled fighting force in the world, and we can't defeat a country with less than 5 million people in it? Something's up there. Saudis condemn the Houthi blockade. So what? It's still happening. It's still happening. Oh, God. I'm just gonna chill. Breathe deeply. Did you hear that last quarter they only sold like 12,000 Cybertrucks, and of that, Tesla bought 6,000 for their own fleet? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? I'm trying to read the chat room. We are breeding stupid people. We certainly are. What else? Survival of the stupidest. Stupid people will sure and win, unfortunately. Yep. We need a purge day. No, we don't. That's, although every time I see those movies, I think that's going to happen. Yeah, Bill Maher said that he'd vote for J.D. Vance over a Democratic Socialist. I've told you all along that Bill Maher is a turncoat. He changed. And liberals, and that's what I mean. Liberals still watch Bill Maher. When he began to be liked by MAGA, that's when I stopped. When MAGA was like, oh, he's a Democrat that gets it, I thought, nope. That means he's gone over the edge and drank the Kool-Aid, or the fruit drink. It was not Kool-Aid, it was fruit drink. Jim Jones did not serve Kool-Aid. He served some Cambodian fruit drink. So yeah, when you have Bill Maher having dinner with Donald Trump, saying he would vote for J.D. Vance over a Democratic Socialist, why are they so afraid of the word socialism? Bill Maher uses the roads to get to and from work, I bet. I bet he's used the post office in his lifetime. He didn't have any kids, but I'm sure his relatives sent his kids to public school. I bet he'll take his Medicare. I bet he'll take his Social Security check when he gets it. I bet in his lifetime he's been on unemployment. All these people that fear democratic socialists, and yet they take advantage of socialism. That's just rich as well. So what I wanted to talk about today actually was non-political. I thought, I don't want to do politics tomorrow. I'm tired of politics. It's getting me crazy. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I'd rather not do the show if I have to talk about politics. And then I said, well, it's your show. Talk about what you want. If you lose listeners, if you lose all your patrons, oh well, then you'll just stop the show. But if you don't want to talk politics anymore, don't. And what I started thinking about was the rise in anti-tech. My friend Steve is a prime example of this. He loves vinyl. He's got hundreds and hundreds of records. But in the last year, vinyl has surged, and now CDs have surged. The CD sales are up 26%. Now that's sizable. Vinyl sales increased again this year. Now it's back. Vinyl records have not made as much money as they're making now since the late 80s. It is $1 billion industry again, vinyl. Now, CDs are coming back. And there's a big backlash against Sony. Sony is taking all of their games for the PlayStation and making them unavailable on a CD. So now you have to buy it digitally. And it comes with the caveat that they can cancel it at any time. You purchase the game for like $80. You download it, and Sony says at any point that they could just cancel it if they want. So you don't own it. So Gen Y and Gen Z, the younger people, are tired of streaming. They're tired of not owning their music. And now they want to own their music. So they are turning to CDs again, vinyl records, even cassette tapes. Film cameras have shown a 17% increase in sales. Kodak just came out with a new film camera. Pentax has a film camera now. Fuji has new film cameras. Not old ones that you buy, new ones. Agfa still makes film. Fuji still makes film. They're going back to film cameras. There's even hybrid cameras now that are film and digital. So you can see the photo right away, but have film. Suddenly, young kids are realizing that maybe, just maybe, digital is not the answer. And that maybe, just maybe, you should own your music, or own your movies, or own your games, or have a negative of your picture. I'm all for it. Although I'm kind of not, MP3s were fine with me before streaming. In other words, before Apple Music and Spotify, you bought the album, but you downloaded the MP3, but you had the digital file. And you could burn a CD from it and have a CD. And you had your iPod. Oh, those are... Try to go to eBay and buy an iPod. Oh my God, they're selling like hotcakes. And so I felt ownership of my MP3s on my iPod, you know. But then streaming came and people stopped buying the MP3s. They just streamed them. So I'd be fine if Gen Z and Gen Y went back to actually buying the MP3s. You know, I don't think we have to go back to CDs and albums, but if they want to, sure. I'm releasing a new single in 3 days, and I am probably going to press a limited number of vinyl just because people want to buy it. Oh, and you know another big thing that's happening now? Bluetooth landline phones. So you connect your cell phone to this vintage-looking telephone, and then you use the handset and the dial to call. It's still your cell phone, but you're using a Bluetooth old kind of landline. Those are really popular right now. Tech is going backwards. And I think it's because we've gotten an overload. We're in it. And we're tired of the head of Spotify or the head of Apple Music making billions of dollars while artists we like aren't making anything. You know, if you're not Adele or Taylor Swift or Beyonce and you're an artist, just a regular artist like Emily Sandé, she's not making a fortune off of streaming. She's not. Anastasia. She sold 50 million albums, only 8 million of those in the United States, 42 million abroad. So she's okay. She's got some cash, but she's not making money off of the streaming of her music. For every album that I used to sell, I made $1.50, $2. Now, if someone streams my album, I make 0.004 cents. There's just no money in entertainment anymore. And as the merger goes, on hold now for Paramount because of all these lawsuits, there's a little hope there that the 5 companies that control Hollywood won't become 3 companies as Paramount gobbles up 2 of them. We're going backwards a little bit, and in some ways, I think that's good. Vinyl, CD, and even cassette sales are up. I mean, no one wants VHS, but I still got one of those. I got a VHS.
Is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way.
Now it's showtime.
Yes. I agree with in the chat room. It is, James says it's a low-key Gen Z tech rebellion against the digital onslaught. It is. They're getting they don't even like AI. 14, 15, 16-year-olds, they don't like AI. They don't like it. Did you hear in San Francisco? Now, what happened was wrong, FYI, but there was a coffee shop. I think it's called Ground and something. I'd have to look it up. But there's a coffee shop, and they were ordering a sign for their window. But in the meantime, they did AI images of their drinks and their croissants and everything. And there was a huge backlash. So much so that they got vandalized. And they destroyed the sign with the AI images and wrote graffiti over it. Now, this wasn't to be the permanent sign, but obviously, it offended the sensibilities. Let me find the name of it. It was at the San Francisco Gate. Or was it the Chronicle? Let me check. Oops. I'm typing in the wrong thing. SF Gate. Let's see. Yeah, it was all over AI images on their sign. People just hated it. They were like, oh my God. Where is the top story? Exceptional rare footage in Monterey Bay. Yeah, there was a great shot from Monterey Bay of a killer whale about to eat a dolphin flying through the air. Here it is. San Francisco, number 2 story. San Francisco restaurant gets angry backlash for AI menu items. Let's see. They Grind and Unwind is the name of the store on Height Street. They posted this AI. Oh, look here. I can show you what happened to their store because of it. Now, this is wrong. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. I've lost my mouse. How many of you hate it when you lose your mouse? Okay, let's see. Here, screen capture, and there. You see the graffiti that happened? See this right here? That happened because they had AI. They had an AI sign. Isn't that something? Ain't that something? So yeah, they people were like, oh, this AI slop. I'd rather see a shitty photo taken with a Polaroid camera on a light box than some AI slop. This is not abnormal now. Young people are turning against AI images. They're turning against AI. And that's a good thing. AI has its uses. Science, technology, coding, medicine. Yes, absolutely. AI can now take a drug, okay? And when it used to take them years to run all these different scenarios with this drug, now AI can do it in 20 minutes. So yes, AI has its place, but it doesn't belong everywhere. I do not believe it. Does it belong in entertainment? Yes, as a tool. Certainly. I mean, CGI, computer generated images, Star Wars, all of these ones that, he just died too. The guy from, what was his name? The company was named after him. And something works. Oh, I forget. Anyway, one of the leaders in CGI just died. But so, can there be a marriage of AI and creativity? Yes, of course. If you want to use it to help you come up with a top line or something and then take that top line and make it your own, okay. You have a scene in a movie that, you need some more footage of because the wide shot didn't go wide enough and you need 10 more seconds of a panning shot. Okay, sure. Entire movies? No. AI artist charting with records? No. So there is a tech backlash growing from the younger people. And I'm all for that. And a lot of you still listen to your CDs. I have VHS movies that I'm converting to digital. Just getting around to that, by the way. I'm looking at the VHS recorder right now. A lot of it's me and Andrew. And it's taking me a long time because every time I play one of them, I cry and get sad and miss him and all of that. But I am trying to convert, I have probably 100 VHS tapes I need to convert to digital. And the same with mini disc and DATs, digital audio tapes. I have every show I ever did on a DAT from KFI, from KGO, mini disc. So I need to convert all that to digital. Listening to music for me is still easier digital. But I like that I own it. Like Madonna's new Confessions 2, I bought it. I know I could stream it for free. I'm a member of Apple Music. But I bought it. Shouldn't need the money, but I bought it. Steve bought 4 different versions on vinyl. But I bought the digital files. I owned them. And to me, that's fine. Back it up on CD? Sure, in case because if the power goes out, your CD player ain't going to work either. There is a permanence to something like vinyl records. I mean, we have vinyl records from the 1920s, 1930s that you can still listen to. Go to a library. You can listen to a 78 RPM jazz record from the 1910s. I doubt that digital Taylor Swift is going to be heard in 2130. And what's the next step? What happens when technology changes again and music switches from MP3 streaming to something else? I don't know what else, but it'll be something. Does all our investment in our MP3s go out the window? They're so quick to change technology and make us buy it all over again. Alrighty. Well, we are almost out of here. I prepared a science course curriculum so I could teach in an adjunct capacity, but no takers. I put it on my YouTube channel, so now the work was just given away. Oh my God. Open the bay door, Hal. Amen. I still listen to regular radio too. Oh, I can't. Regular radio has turned to shit. Too many commercials. Too many. They're now down to 31 minutes of talk per hour on major stations. And as for music, they're down to less than 40 minutes of music per hour. So I can't. I know the ads are great. I know they pay the jocks. I get that. I understand it. I was one. I get it. But I just can't. Because I'll hear ads for Joe Lombardo. Or some other Republican. All right, I am Karel. You be who you want to be, so I'm going to hurt you, buddy. Sorry, I was a little angry at the start of the show, but Sherry and Jeannie hurt my feelings. When they didn't defend me to Maureen and they just got up and left, I just thought, All right, we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday with This Gay Week, I hope. I haven't heard from Scott, and there's been bombings in Kyiv.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast, driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.